Patrick is a terrific man, so kind and conscientious, and is a great dad. He was a wonderful role model for our kids. He was always prepared for what he needed to do, and he worked hard at it.
Impossible for me to describe Dad in one word. I think of honesty, I think of faith, I think of love, and I think of patience. And then in his everyday life, he was totally selfless. He'd help anyone in need and never wanted any recognition for that.
It is in his heart, is at his essence of who he is, and he's kind to strangers, to family, to clients, to opposing counsel, to judges, children, grandchildren, and patient as well. Those two I think go hand in hand.
If I were to describe Pat, the word that comes to mind is trustworthy. Usually that's not a term that you hear about lawyers, but that was Pat. Pat was loved by everyone, well respected by both sides of the bar. He was really a man for others in how he practiced personally, but more importantly, his faith.
My father was thorough, still is today. When you're in trial in the courtroom, chance favors the prepared. So he was very successful as well. There were long hours. He tried a lot of cases. If he slept 3 hours, he would say, "Oh, I got a great nap in last night." He'd look on the positive side of things. When I was at Ignatius, he was trying cases, and sometimes I'd go downtown to the Justice Center, the old courtroom, after school and watch him very diligently, not flashy, knew his stuff, and was a great advocate for his clients.
We defended physicians in hospitals and in medical malpractice cases, so I had the pleasure of trying cases with Pat, and it's truly an experience to see a true lawyer practice his craft. Being an Ignatius lawyer, as you look around, you can almost tell individuals who went to Ignatius and practice law, because they do it not to win at any cost. Man of his word. That's important in the profession, not only with the clients, but also the other side. Pat said something, you took it.
Patrick was an excellent speaker. He delved into the problem, so he was very prepared. And what he did, because he was talking medical, he had to change the language so that the jury could understand what was the problem. So he had to know the medicine and then kind of translate it for the common person to understand what was going on.
A few key takeaways that I've gotten from Dad and how he lives his everyday life is to really let faith, honesty, and love drive and influence his everyday interactions and his decisions. He's really a man who tries to be like Jesus in every way, something that makes me want to be better every day as well.
He felt like Ignatius was a great foundation for him. Maybe he owed something back to that institution, those teachers, and that philosophy of educating young men. He's been a class rep. I know he's been over here many times to do different volunteer activities, but I think that's what it was. He just kind of believed in Catholic education and wanted to make sure that it was available for the next generation as well.
Pat is suffering from Parkinson right now, man of vigor, and he doesn't let anything get him down, and he's not let this disease get him down, and he refuses to let it define his life.
First thing that comes to mind is you learn you have to work hard no matter what you're doing, whether you're a lawyer, a doctor, or whatever it is. You have to work hard to be successful at it. Very important to be fair and ethical in the practice of law. That's true on both sides, the plaintiff side, the defense side. When the case is old, people are brought in when the case is new. My involvement with Ignatius over the years has made me feel younger. It's amazing. Certainly didn't know this award was coming my way. I'm grateful for receiving them. I feel humbled about it. You look out in that audience and there's a million people out there that are just as qualified as I am for either one of those awards.